What if you could control your emotions instead of letting them control you? It's a question that has echoed through the ages, and one that Stoic philosophy has been answering for over 2,000 years. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most renowned Stoics, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power, the ability to master your emotions, is not just a lofty ideal, it's a practical skill you can develop. And today, we're diving into 12 simple, yet profound techniques rooted in Stoicism that can help you do just that. Whether you're dealing with stress, anger, or uncertainty, these timeless principles offer a roadmap to emotional resilience and clarity. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by your feelings or wished you could respond to life's challenges with calm and confidence, this is for you. Let's explore how Stoicism can transform the way you navigate your emotions starting right now. One of the most foundational ideas in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, the understanding that not everything in life is within your power, but how you respond to it always is. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who lived nearly 2,000 years ago, put it simply, some things are within our power while others are not. This might sound straightforward, but it's a principle that can completely shift how you approach life's challenges. Think about it. You can't control the weather, the actions of others, or even the traffic on your way to work. But what you can control is your reaction to these things. For instance, imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. You could let frustration take over, honking your horn and feeling your blood pressure rise. Or you could accept that the traffic is beyond your control and use the time to listen to a podcast, reflect on your day, or simply breathe deeply. The situation hasn't changed, but your response has, and that's where your power lies. Now take a moment to think about a recent situation where you felt overwhelmed or upset. Was it something you could control, or were you trying to fight against the uncontrollable? This distinction is key. By focusing your energy only on what's within your power, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. It's not about giving up or being passive. It's about directing your efforts where they truly matter. And when you start practicing this, you'll notice a profound shift in how you experience life's ups and downs. The next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, let it go. If it is, take action. This simple yet powerful mindset is the first step toward emotional mastery. How often do you let negative thoughts dictate your emotions? It's easy to fall into the trap of seeing the worst in every situation, but Stoicism offers a powerful tool to break free from that cycle: cognitive reframing. This technique is all about shifting your perspective to see challenges in a new light. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." In other words, it's not the event itself that causes us pain, it's how we interpret it. Let's say you've just received criticism at work. Your first reaction might be to feel defensive, embarrassed, or even angry. But what if, instead of seeing it as a personal attack, you viewed it as an opportunity to grow? That's cognitive reframing in action. You're not denying the reality of the situation. You're simply choosing to focus on the potential for improvement rather than the sting of the moment. This shift in perspective can transform how you feel and how you respond. Here's a practical way to apply this. Think about a challenge you're facing right now. Maybe it's a setback at work, a disagreement with a loved one, or even a personal goal that feels out of reach. Now, ask yourself, what's one positive angle I can take from this? Perhaps that setback is a chance to refine your skills, or that disagreement is an opportunity to strengthen your communication. By reframing the situation, you're not just managing your emotions, you're empowering yourself to move forward with clarity and purpose. Cognitive reframing isn't about ignoring the negative, it's about balancing it with a more constructive outlook. And when you practice this regularly, you'll find that your emotional responses become more measured, more intentional, and ultimately more in your control. So the next time a negative thought tries to take the wheel, remember, you have the power to steer it in a new direction. The present moment is all we truly have. It's a simple truth, but one that's easy to forget in the rush of daily life. Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in the here and now because that's where our power lies. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." It's a reminder that dwelling on the past or worrying about the future only pulls us away from what we can actually influence, this very moment. Think about it. When you're fully present, you're not weighed down by regrets or anxieties. You're free to engage with life as it unfolds, moment by moment. For example, imagine you're working on an important project, but your mind keeps drifting to what might go wrong or what you didn't get done yesterday. That mental clutter can make even simple tasks feel overwhelming. But if you bring your focus back to the task at hand, whether it's writing a report, having a conversation, or even washing the dishes, you'll find that the anxiety starts to fade. The present moment, when fully embraced, has a way of grounding us. Here's a challenge for you. For the next hour, try to practice being fully present. Whether you're at work, at home, or out for a walk, pay attention to what's happening right now. Notice the details, the sounds around you, the sensations in your body, the thoughts passing through your mind. If your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to the present. This isn't about perfection, it's about practice. And with time, you'll find that this simple act of mindfulness can transform how you experience life. Being present doesn't mean ignoring the past or the future entirely. It's about recognizing that the only moment you can truly act in is this one. By focusing on what's right in front of you, you're not just reducing stress, you're reclaiming your ability to respond to life with intention and clarity. So take a deep breath and let this moment be your anchor. The present is where your power lies. Use it wisely. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, it means freedom. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of Stoicism, but also one of the most liberating. Emotional detachment is about creating space between yourself and your feelings, allowing you to observe them without being swept away. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, put it this way: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, you don't have to let your emotions control you. You can choose to step back, observe, and respond with clarity rather than react impulsively. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're in the middle of an argument with someone close to you. Emotions are running high, and it's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment. But what if, instead of letting anger or frustration take over, you paused for a moment? What if you simply observed your emotions like a scientist studying a reaction under a microscope? You might notice the tension in your body, the racing thoughts, or the urge to lash out. But by observing these feelings without judgment, you create a buffer, a space where you can decide how to respond rather than being driven by impulse. This practice isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. Think of it like watching clouds pass by in the sky. You don't try to stop the clouds or change their shape. You simply observe them as they move. In the same way, you can observe your emotions without getting tangled up in them. Here's a simple way to start practicing emotional detachment. The next time you feel a strong emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, or even joy, take a moment to notice it. Name the emotion and then ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? By doing this, you're not ignoring your emotions, you're engaging with them in a way that gives you control. Over time, this practice can help you respond to life's challenges with greater calm and clarity. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of your emotions so you can act with intention and wisdom. And when you master this skill, you'll find that you're no longer a prisoner to your feelings. You're the one holding the key. Or what if you prepared for the worst instead of fearing it? This is the heart of Premeditatio Malorum, a Stoic practice that translates to the premeditation of evils. It's not about pessimism or dwelling on negativity. It's about building resilience by anticipating challenges before they arise. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." In other words, when you prepare for adversity, you strip it of its ability to catch you off guard. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're about to have a difficult conversation with a colleague or loved one. Instead of dreading it or hoping it will go smoothly, take a moment to mentally rehearse the worst-case scenario. What if the conversation becomes heated? What if they respond with anger or criticism? By visualizing these possibilities, you're not inviting them to happen. You're simply preparing yourself to handle them with composure if they do. This mental rehearsal helps you stay calm and collected, no matter how the situation unfolds. Here's how you can apply this in your own life. Think about a challenge you're facing or a situation that's causing you anxiety. Now take a few minutes to imagine the worst possible outcome. What would it look like? How would you respond? By walking through this scenario in your mind, you're not only reducing the fear of the unknown, but also equipping yourself with a plan of action. The beauty of Premeditatio Malorum is that it doesn't just reduce anxiety, it empowers you. When you've already considered the worst, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by it. Instead, you can approach challenges with a sense of readiness and confidence. So the next time you feel uneasy about the future, try this exercise. Visualize the obstacles, prepare your response, and watch as your fear transforms into strength. After all, as Seneca reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Zoom out to see the bigger picture. It's a simple idea, but one that can completely transform how you experience life's challenges. The Stoics called this practice the view from above, and it's all about gaining perspective by stepping back, way back, from the immediacy of your problems. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on this idea. He wrote, "Keep in mind how fast things pass by and are gone, those that are now and those to come." In other words, when you take a cosmic or long-term view, most of what feels overwhelming in the moment starts to shrink in significance. Think about it. How many of the things that stressed you out a year ago still matter to you today? Probably very few. That's because most of our worries are temporary, fleeting moments in the grand scheme of life. For example, imagine you're feeling anxious about a presentation at work. Your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty, and you can't shake the fear of messing up. Now, zoom out. Picture yourself a month from now, or even a year from now. Will this presentation still be consuming your thoughts? Chances are it won't. By shifting your perspective, you're not dismissing the importance of the moment. You're simply reminding yourself that it's just one small part of a much larger story. Here's how you can apply this practice. Take a moment to think about something that's weighing on you right now. Maybe it's a conflict with a friend, a financial worry, or a personal goal that feels out of reach. Now imagine looking at this situation from a distance, as if you were observing it from space or from the perspective of your future self. How does it look now? Does it still feel as urgent or insurmountable? Often, this shift in perspective can bring a sense of calm and clarity, helping you see that what feels like a mountain today is really just a molehill in the grand scheme of things. The view from above isn't about minimizing your struggles or pretending they don't matter. It's about giving yourself the space to see them in context. When you do this, you're not just reducing stress, you're reclaiming your ability to respond to life with wisdom and balance. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed, take a step back, zoom out, and remember, this moment, like all moments, is just a small part of a much bigger picture. How often do you pause to reflect on your emotions and actions? In the hustle of daily life, it's easy to let moments slip by without truly understanding what's driving your feelings or decisions. But Stoicism offers a powerful tool to bridge that gap: journaling. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Each day, acquire something that will fortify you against poverty, against death, indeed against other misfortunes as well." For the Stoics, journaling wasn't just a habit, it was a way to build emotional resilience and gain clarity. Think of journaling as a mirror for your mind. When you write down your thoughts and emotions, you're not just recording them, you're creating space to observe and understand them. For example, imagine you had a frustrating day at work. Instead of carrying that frustration into the evening, you sit down with a notebook and ask yourself, what emotions did I feel today and why? As you write, you might realize that your frustration wasn't just about the workload. It was tied to a deeper sense of not being heard or valued. That insight alone can be transformative. Here's a simple way to start. Each evening, take 5 minutes to reflect on your day. Write down the emotions you experienced and what triggered them. Don't overthink it, just let the words flow. Over time, you'll begin to notice patterns. Maybe certain situations consistently make you anxious, or perhaps you're more reactive when you're tired. These observations aren't just random thoughts, they're clues to understanding yourself better. Journaling doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. It's about creating a habit of self-reflection, one that helps you step back and see your emotions from a new perspective. And when you do this regularly, you'll find that you're not just reacting to life, you're responding with intention and clarity. So grab a notebook, set aside a few minutes each day, and start exploring the inner landscape of your mind. As Seneca reminds us, the unexamined life is not worth living. And through journaling, you're taking the first step toward a life that's not just lived but truly understood. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. It's a simple yet profound truth that lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that true contentment comes not from acquiring more, but from appreciating what you already have. Epictetus, the Stoic teacher, once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This isn't just about being thankful for the big, obvious blessings in life. It's about finding joy in the small, everyday moments that often go unnoticed. Take a moment to think about your day so far. Maybe you woke up in a warm bed, enjoyed a cup of coffee, or shared a laugh with a friend. These might seem like ordinary things, but they're also gifts that can easily be taken for granted if we don't pause to acknowledge them. The Stoics practiced gratitude as a way to ground themselves in the present and cultivate a sense of abundance, even in the face of hardship. Here's an example. Imagine you're stuck in a long line at the grocery store. It's easy to feel impatient or annoyed, but what if you use that time to reflect on what you're grateful for? Maybe you're grateful for the food you're about to buy, the ability to afford it, or even the chance to slow down and take a breath. By shifting your focus, you're not just passing the time, you're transforming the moment into something meaningful. Now, here's a challenge for you. Take out a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone and list 3 things you're grateful for today. They don't have to be grand or life-changing, just genuine. Maybe it's the sound of birds outside your window, a kind word from a stranger, or even the fact that you made it through a tough day. The act of writing them down helps solidify that sense of gratitude, making it more tangible and real. Practicing gratitude isn't about ignoring life's challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about balancing the scales, acknowledging the difficulties while also recognizing the good. And when you make this a habit, you'll find that your perspective begins to shift. You'll start to see abundance where you once saw lack, and joy where you once saw only routine. So take a moment to appreciate what you have right here, right now. Because as the Stoics remind us, true wealth isn't measured by what we own, it's measured by what we're grateful for. How would you live if you knew nothing lasts forever? It's a question that invites us to pause and consider the transient nature of everything around us. The Stoics called this idea impermanence, and it's a cornerstone of their philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, often reflected on this truth. He wrote, "All things of the body stream away like a river. All things of the mind are dreams and delusion. Life is warfare and a visit to a strange land." In other words, everything, our possessions, our relationships, even our own lives, is temporary. And while that might sound unsettling at first, embracing this truth can actually bring a profound sense of freedom. Think about it. When you hold onto things too tightly, whether it's a job, a relationship, or even a material possession, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because nothing stays the same forever, the Stoics believe that by accepting this reality, we can reduce our attachment to outcomes and find peace in the present moment. For example, imagine you've worked hard to buy your dream car. It's shiny, fast, and everything you've ever wanted, but over time it starts to show wear and tear. Maybe it gets a scratch or the engine begins to falter. If you're too attached to it, those changes might bring frustration or sadness. But if you remind yourself that even this car is temporary, that it, like all things, will eventually fade, you can enjoy it without clinging to it. Now take a moment to reflect. What are you holding onto too tightly in your own life? Is it a goal you're desperate to achieve, a relationship you're afraid to lose, or even a version of yourself that no longer fits? By acknowledging the impermanence of these things, you're not dismissing their value. You're simply freeing yourself from the weight of attachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring or striving. It means you approach life with a lighter heart, knowing that change is inevitable. Embracing impermanence isn't about becoming indifferent or detached. It's about finding balance, appreciating what you have while letting go of the need to control or possess it. And when you do this, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and resilience. So the next time you feel yourself clinging too tightly, remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. Life is fleeting, but the way you choose to live it, that's where your power lies. Resilience is built through adversity, not comfort. It's a truth that might feel counterintuitive, but it's one the Stoics understood deeply. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." In other words, it's through facing challenges that we grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Think about it. When everything is going smoothly, there's little opportunity to test your limits or discover what you're truly made of. But when life throws obstacles in your path, that's when you have the chance to rise, to dig deep and find reserves of strength you didn't know you had. Consider this example. Imagine you've been working toward a promotion for months, pouring your energy into every project, only to be passed over for someone else. At first, it might feel like a crushing blow, but what if, instead of letting disappointment take over, you used this setback as a catalyst for growth? Maybe it's a chance to refine your skills, to seek feedback, or even to explore new opportunities you hadn't considered before. The challenge hasn't changed, but your response to it has, and that's where resilience begins to take root. Now take a moment to reflect. What's a recent challenge you faced? Maybe it was a personal loss, a professional setback, or even a moment of self-doubt. How did you respond? Did you find yourself growing stronger, even in the face of difficulty? the Stoics believed that every obstacle is an opportunity to practice resilience, to build the mental and emotional muscles that help us navigate life's ups and downs. This doesn't mean you have to welcome hardship with open arms. It simply means recognizing that adversity, while uncomfortable, can be a powerful teacher. When you shift your perspective and see challenges as opportunities for growth, you're not just enduring them, you're transforming them into stepping stones toward a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. So the next time life tests you, remember Seneca's words: the greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. Resilience isn't about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. How often do you let impulses dictate your actions? It's a question worth asking, because in a world full of distractions and instant gratification, self-discipline can feel like a rare commodity. But for the Stoics, self-discipline wasn't just a virtue, it was a cornerstone of emotional mastery. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, put it bluntly: no man is free who is not master of himself. In other words, if you can't control your impulses, you're at the mercy of them. And that's where self-discipline comes in, not as a punishment, but as a path to freedom. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're in a heated argument and the urge to lash out with a sharp remark feels almost irresistible. In that moment, self-discipline is the pause, the space between the impulse and the action. It's what allows you to take a breath, consider the consequences, and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than your emotions. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about channeling them in a way that serves you rather than derails you. Here's a practical way to start building this skill. Pick one area of your life where you tend to act on impulse. Maybe it's reaching for your phone the moment you feel bored, or indulging in comfort food when you're stressed. Whatever it is, challenge yourself to delay that gratification, even if it's just for a few minutes. Notice the urge, but don't act on it right away. Over time, this small act of self-discipline can have a ripple effect, helping you gain control over other areas of your life as well. Self-discipline isn't about perfection or rigid self-denial. It's about making intentional choices that align with your long-term goals and values. And when you practice it consistently, you'll find that you're no longer a slave to your impulses, you're the one in charge. So the next time you feel the pull of an impulse, remember Epictetus's words: freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And self-discipline, that's your key to unlocking it. And there you have it, 12 powerful techniques rooted in Stoic philosophy to help you take control of your emotions. From understanding the dichotomy of control to practicing gratitude, from embracing impermanence to building resilience, each of these tools offers a unique way to navigate life's challenges with calm and clarity. Together, they form a roadmap to emotional mastery, one that's been tested and refined over thousands of years. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That strength, that power, is within your reach. Now, here's the challenge. Don't try to master all 12 techniques at once. Start small. Choose one that resonates with you, whether it's journaling to reflect on your day, practicing cognitive reframing to shift your perspective, or simply focusing on the present moment. Commit to it for a week and see how it transforms your emotional landscape. And when you're ready, come back and share your experience in the comments. What worked for you? What surprised you? Your journey could inspire someone else to take their first step toward emotional resilience. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. There's so much more Stoic wisdom to explore, and I'd love for you to join me as we dive deeper into these timeless principles. Remember, emotional mastery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every small step you take brings you closer to the calm, confident, and resilient version of yourself you're meant to be. So take that step today. The power to control your emotions is already within you. Now it's time to use it.